Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're really getting into it, a kind of sensitive topic, but super relevant to, well, pretty much everyone. The whole hustle thing, especially in corporate India.
Yeah, it's definitely a global conversation, isn't it? Work-life balance, well-being, what we're willing to, sacrifice for success. It's a big one.
Huge. And we've got a ton of sources today, articles, research, the works to really unpack this whole thing.
Looking forward to it.
So let's kick things off with a story that's, well, it's heartbreaking, really. Anna Sebastian Pereil, she was only 26, a chartered accountant at, you've heard of them, Ernst & Young, EY.
EY.
Tragically, she passed away in July, and this was just a few months into her, what was supposed to be her dream job, right?
Yeah.
And now her parents are saying it was the pressure at EY that led to her death.
That's awful. What are they saying happened?
Basically, they're claiming that the workload, the hours, it was all just too much. Too much for anyone to handle, really.
And what's EY saying?
They're denying it, of course.
Yeah.
Saying that her workload was, totally normal, no different than anyone else at her level.
The classic he said, she said. But either way, it brings up some important points.
Exactly. And it's gotten a lot of attention, especially because Anna's mom, she wrote this open letter to EY, really detailing everything, the pressure, everything Anna was going through. It blew up online. People were sharing it everywhere, talking about their own experiences.
Which makes sense. People relate to that, unfortunately. Feeling overworked is, it's pretty universal.
It is. And this story, it shines a light on this hustle culture, especially in India. This idea that working crazy hours, it's not just expected, it's celebrated.
Right. It's a badge of honor almost.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to dive into today. This whole idea of how much is too much?
Yeah, because there's a good side to it too, right? Drive, ambition, it's what pushes things forward. But where's the line?
And who decides that?
Right.
And it's not just coming from the bottom. Even big names like Narayana Murthy, the Infosys co-founder.
Oh, sure.
Last year, he actually said that young Indians, they should be prepared to work 70-hour weeks. 70. For 4 or 5 years at least to help boost the economy.
Wow, that's intense. I mean, that's practically double a normal work week for a lot of people, especially anyone just starting out. That's a lot to ask.
It's like sleep when you're dead, which is, kind of ironic given the whole conversation.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And it's more than just a difference of opinion, it really reflects something deeper, I think. This belief that's so ingrained in the Indian work culture. His statement wasn't even a suggestion, really. It was more an observation of what's already expected.
It's true. It's this clash, old school, work hard no matter what, versus people wanting a life outside of work. And it's not just him, Bhavish Agrawal, he's the Ola India chief. He said some pretty interesting things on this topic. He straight up doesn't believe in work-life balance. Calls it a myth, actually.
Really? Wow. That's something. I mean, what's his reasoning there?
He says that if you actually love what you do, then the lines between work and life, they just disappear naturally. It's all one big happy thing, apparently.
I guess that's easy to say when you're, at the cup, but I'm not so sure everyone sees it that way. Even if you're passionate about your work, everyone needs time to recharge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Friends, family, hobbies. There's more to life than just work.
Okay.
And that's what makes this so fascinating, this whole hustle thing. It's not just a few big names saying it. It's woven into the entire Indian business culture. It's even in the schools. Business schools actually teach this. Work crazy hours for a fat paycheck, that's the path to success.
Wow, so it's ingrained from the start, and then it just perpetuates, right? You come out of school thinking that's the only way to do it, work yourself to the bone for years, and then maybe you get rewarded later. But is that really sustainable?
Yeah, and is that the kind of work culture we want? It's something to think about. I mean, we got to find a better balance, don't we?
Yeah.
Something that values productivity, but also, people's well-being.
Absolutely. That's the million-dollar question, right? How do we do that? How do we create that kind of environment? Because at the end of the day, what good is all the economic growth, the technology, if people are miserable, burnt out?
It's like that story we talked about, Anna. Mm-hmm. Such a tragic reminder that this isn't just some theoretical debate. There are real consequences to pushing people too far.
Exactly. It's about creating a workplace where people can thrive, where they can bring their best, be creative, productive, but without feeling like they're going to collapse from exhaustion.
It's about working smarter, not just harder. And using technology to make things better, not keep us chained to our desks for longer. It's kind of ironic, you know. India's at the forefront of so much tech innovation, but still struggles with this whole work-life balance thing.
It's true, but it can be done. Look at Scandinavia. They've managed to create much more balanced work environments. And guess what? Their employees are consistently ranked among the happiest and most productive.
See, it works. So why not India?
Exactly. It's possible. It starts with a mindset shift, challenging those deep-rooted beliefs about work and, well, life, remembering that people aren't machines. We need time to rest, connect, recharge.
Because when you have that time, you're actually more productive. It seems counterintuitive, but it's true. Happier employees equal more productive employees.
It's a no-brainer, so I'm not sure why more companies haven't caught on. But I think it's changing, slowly. Especially with younger generations coming in, leading these companies. We're seeing more flexible work arrangements, more focus on employee well-being. It's a step in the right direction.
So maybe there is hope for the future of work, right? Where it's not something to be feared, but something that energizes us, inspires us.
I think so. I really do. But it's going to take a real effort from everyone, individuals, companies, governments. We got to start talking about this more openly, setting boundaries, pushing back on this idea that overworking is the only way to get ahead.
But, you know, it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's another side to this whole hustle thing. There are people who actually, thrive in that kind of high-pressure environment, right? Those who see long hours as a good thing, a sign of dedication.
Yeah, you're right. It's not so black and white. There are definitely people who genuinely enjoy working long hours, who find it fulfilling, pushing themselves.
So where's the line, then, between passion and pressure?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's different for everyone, I think. For some people, it's about passion, They're just really invested in their work, want to see it succeed. For others, it's more about ambition, climbing the ladder, that kind of thing.
So how do you tell the difference between someone who's choosing to work those long hours because they want to versus someone who feels like they have to, that they'll be judged if they don't?
That's where it gets tricky. And that's why it's so important to talk about it, to create a work environment where people feel comfortable speaking up, setting boundaries without being afraid of negative consequences.
It's like we need a cultural shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just in India, but everywhere. This whole hustle harder mentality, it's got to go.
Totally. We need a more balanced approach. One that values people's contributions, not just the number of hours they put in.
And it's got to start somewhere, right? What can people do, individually, to create that change?
Well, for one, we need to start talking about it openly and honestly. And we need to set boundaries. It's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to prioritize your well-being.
Because at the end of the day, it's about creating a life you love.
Right.
A life where work is a part of it, but not the whole thing.
Exactly. And that's what we're all striving for, right? A life that's both successful and sustainable.
Well said. Well, everyone, that about wraps up our deep dive for today. It's been a lot to unpack.
It has.
But hopefully you found it insightful. And if there's one thing we want you to take away from all of this, it's that work-life balance. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
It really is. Take care of yourselves, everyone.
And until next time, stay curious.